ძალიან ეხა სანამ იმას წყალია წაიღებს არ დაიხსენებენ ხალხი.
Telavi, Georgia. A catastrophic flash flood triggered by unprecedented torrential rainfall and subsequent severe mudflows has caused widespread devastation across the historic city of Telavi and its surrounding agricultural villages in the Kakheti region. The disaster, which unfolded rapidly on Sunday, July 12, 2026, has left thousands of residents without basic utilities, destroyed critical public infrastructure, inundated residential and commercial properties, and wiped out vital agricultural assets. While local emergency services have confirmed that there are no human casualties or fatalities, the sheer scale of the material and economic damage has plunged the region into a state of immediate crisis, prompting an emergency, large-scale response from municipal authorities, regional governors, and national rescue agencies. The environmental disaster began during the afternoon hours when an extremely intense localized thunderstorm system stalled directly over the Gombe mountain range and the Telavi municipality. According to regional meteorological stations, the area experienced a staggering 57.3 millimeters of rainfall within a span of just a few hours. Meteorologists noted that this astronomical volume represents approximately 85% of the total average rainfall typically expected for the entire month of July in this part of eastern Georgia. The dry summer soil was completely incapable of absorbing such a massive volume of water in so short a time, leading to immediate surface runoff that quickly funneled into local river systems and mountain ravines. The primary catalyst for the widespread flooding within Telavi itself was the violent overflowing of the Telavi Ravine River. As the mountain runoff cascaded downwards, it transformed the usually manageable stream into a raging torrent of thick mud, uprooted trees, heavy boulders, and urban debris. The sheer hydraulic force of the mudflow quickly overwhelmed the city's existing embankment walls and flood mitigation structures. The critical point of failure occurred in the upper sections of the ravine, where the debris formed a temporary dam before bursting violently, sending a massive wall of water and thick sludge cascading directly into the lower residential and commercial districts of Telavi. Among the hardest-hit urban zones were Kakheti Street and Alazani Street, two major thoroughfares in the lower part of the city. Within minutes, these streets were transformed into fast-flowing, muddy rivers, with water levels reaching over a meter high in several areas. The destructive force of the mudflow caused severe structural damage to public infrastructure. A vital concrete bridge connecting the two heavily populated residential streets was completely undermined and collapsed under the pressure of the debris, severing an important transit artery within the municipality. Additionally, bank protection structures along the riverbed were totally obliterated, leaving adjacent properties exposed to further erosion. The human and material impact on the citizens of Telavi has been profound. The fast-moving waters breached the defenses of numerous multi-story residential buildings, completely flooding first-floor apartments and basement spaces. Residents described scenes of panic as muddy water began seeping through doors and windows, forcing families to flee to higher floors. The commercial sector suffered an equally devastating blow. Dozens of local businesses, including pharmacies, grocery markets, clothing stores, and small cafes, were inundated. Property owners could only watch helplessly as their inventory, electronic equipment, and furnishings were ruined by the thick layer of silt and water. Dozens of private automobiles parked along the streets were swept away, smashed against buildings, or buried deep in mud.
Საათაშორის თავიდან ცოტა დინება იყო ნაკლებად, აბსოლუტურად სამიაღვრეები გვიცავდა 100%-ით, მაგრამ სამწუხაროდ ეხლა აქ ისეთი ამბავია, რომ აქ ღმერთი უნდა ჩაერიოს, აქ ვერაფერი ვეღარ გუშველის და ვერავინ. იმიტომ რომ ბუნებასთან უძღურები.
Recognizing the immediate threat to human life, the Emergency Management Service mobilized teams to the disaster zones. The most critical operation took place in the immediate vicinity of the Central Agrarian Market, a bustling commercial hub that was quickly surrounded by rising floodwaters. Rescue workers deployed specialized inflatable boats and high-clearance vehicles to evacuate hundreds of shopkeepers, shoppers, and local residents who had become trapped inside buildings or on higher ground. Emergency personnel worked systematically through the night to ensure that everyone in the high-risk zones was moved to safety, establishing temporary shelters for those whose homes had become uninhabitable due to the severe water damage. The disaster also caused a near-total collapse of critical utility networks across Telavi. The violent mudflows knocked down multiple electrical poles, snapped overhead power transmission lines, and damaged several localized substations. This resulted in a widespread blackout, leaving thousands of homes and businesses without electricity.